All right. I'm so used to saying good morning, Panther fans. I almost said it. Good afternoon,
Mm.
Dolphin fans. How is everybody
How
doing
is
out
it when you
there?
got to do a back to back like that with Stu first and then I come in later? Like that's oof.
Well, that wasn't so bad because I got a nap in between because Stu was 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Yesterday, yesterday, Dolphins stream at 3 o'clock. It ended about 6:15. I had an hour and 15 minutes to produce the recap, the and the highlight from the stream of us celebrating the
Oh,
Holland
the pick
pick
six.
six. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had an hour and 15 minutes for both of those videos, feed the dogs and eat dinner. And
Hmm.
I literally the second file finished uploading to YouTube with 1 minute to go before the Panthers stream. Literally 7:29. So yeah, and then we just did it all again. So um I, look, in terms of the game yesterday, I saw Rich Eisen. He's a Jets fan, and he had the reaction to the game, and it wasn't in his professional studio. He was at home, and he was just basically like one of us, like. And it was interesting because his reaction was basically like, I should have known. I should have known that was coming. I should have known that was going to happen. And what's funny is if the results would have been reversed, Dolphin fans would have been saying, you know what, we should have known because Dolphins Jets, it's just for history of all time. If there's some crazy shit that's gonna happen, it's Dolphins Jets.
Man, you don't think that's ever gonna happen on a Hail Mary. Like that's not even really brought into the conversation because it's just
I gotta pause you. I gotta pause you there. And Dougley Do Wrong, the biggest Dolphin creator, put out a short. And I swear to God, because he's tapped into the Dolphins like I'm tapped into the Panthers.
mhm.
As the play is being snapped, he's like, watch, pick six.
Oh jeez. Maybe you got it. I'm gonna sound like I'm being a hater here. I swear to God I'm not. But every time they pull the goalie, I say goalie goal.
Ah,
Eventually I'm gonna be right.
eventually you're gonna
All
be
I'm
right.
saying. Like, sometimes we like to say the absurd thing just in case the absurd thing happens. But
Yeah.
maybe he did, but you don't really expect anyone to catch it on either team, first of all.
Right.
It's
Right.
always just batted out, whatever. And then, okay, we do catch the ball for interception.
Yeah.
You're not expecting him to go 99 yards to the house. But like you kept saying, he already had all the receivers behind him. So if you can
Right.
just wiggle past the linemen and run by the quarterback, yeah,
Yeah. I know it's
not as hard
funny
as you think.
because I watched his reaction and I know what our reaction was. And both of us, Kyle, me, and Dougley, we had the same energy. It was like, oh, he's gonna run it back. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay, right, yeah, all right, he's gonna run it back. And mainly I'm just watching it going, just don't get hurt, bro. Just don't get
Don't
hurt.
get
You know
hurt.
what I mean?
That turf monster. We're going to talk about
Right.
him later.
And it just all the fast guys were behind him. But we got to give credit to Chubb and especially Wilkins for the blocking downfield. I mean, Wilkins
Mm-hmm.
plowed his guy.
There was
Absolutely.
one, I don't remember who it was, but the Jets player slipped before our guy got there. And it was like, oh, it is so good that you slipped because you were about to die.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
forget who it
yeah.
was. I have to go back and see it again. But he slipped right before he got there. I'm like, that was fortunate.
Yeah, yeah, he was fixing to get. And I was actually watching that almost happen and I was thinking, please don't call that a blindside block. Please don't
Right?
call that a blindside because it was going to be borderline, you know what I mean? But yeah, he falls and then as if the poor kid Boyle, man. As if
Mm-hmm.
as if he wasn't given an impossible enough job. It's like make New York forget about Zach Wilson. As if that wasn't bad enough. He's the last man standing against the safety, just gets faked out of his jock strap. And it was and that was just that's when you knew. Because and we'll talk about this. When Tua threw that pick six,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little sketchy. It's 10-6, and you're like, for us Dolphin fans, they had already talked about the game where we were winning 30-7 at halftime on a Monday night, and we lost that game. And I guess we should talk about won't say the elephant in the room, the Samoan in the room, the two picks, dude. What is he
Tua
doing?
picks.
Tua picks, yeah. And what's funny is I want to hear your opinion. Right, I very rarely engage on Dolphins Twitter because engaging on Dolphins Twitter is like a rabbit coming out of the hole during hunting season. You just, no matter which way you look, you're going to get your head. There's somebody's looking, to shoot you. But I posted a poll, and I'm just being me, man. I'm just being a sarcastic, you know what I mean? It ain't that deep. And the poll was, what happens first? McDaniel runs on 3rd and 1, or Tua gets to his second read. And of course, it got, but there was always that one, right? There's always the one guy. And, you don't know what you're watching. This is stupid. Tua's getting to his second read every time. And so we were going back and forth. And he brought up the checkdowns to Smythe as his evidence that Tua was getting to the second read. And while we were discussing this, both interceptions were his second read, where he came off the slant and then he just threw to the outside without even looking. Both interceptions. So I was like, oh, no, you're right. He did look off. He did get to the second read. Oh, look, he did it again. He got to the second read twice. So
there's something wrong with the offense in general in the first half of games. It's happening against the good teams. It's happening against the bad teams. The difference with the good teams is that they put in touchdowns to create that big lead. Tua seemingly can't get to his second read in the first half. Mike McDaniel is too smart for himself in the first half. But it happens every time. And the good news is at least it turns around in the second half every time. Even those games we lost, it turned around in the second half.
Right.
But we can't expect to go into Baltimore on New Year's Eve and have a shit first half. We can't expect to go into any playoff game and have a shit first half. That has to change at some point. And that is why you have that narrative of the Dolphins can't beat the good teams. No, they can beat the good teams, but you're going to have a hard time beating any team only playing one half. And that, if you want to start that narrative about the Dolphins, they only play 30 minutes of football, start that narrative. That would be a more accurate take.
Right. What I'm thinking as you're saying it, the first half, we kind of, the first, 5-6 games, whatever it was, we kind of got accustomed to just running the ball and getting 12 yards a carry in the first half. And, the changes in the offensive line, right? Nobody can stay healthy. I know Armstead went out with a quad again yesterday. It's been Jones Hunt. Cotton's been on, and nobody's been terrible, right?
But I think that's why we let it go a little bit, is because it's been all right. But there's been injuries to the line. There's been injuries to the running backs. They keep going.
It's McDaniel, man. I give him so much grief, right? You give him all this shit, and then yesterday, what does he do? He does the right thing. He says, okay, we've got a lead. We just got this running back off the practice squad. Let's save everybody else's health. Let's put this kid in and seal the game. Third carry, he fumbles the damn ball. So, it's like Mike has got to be sitting there going, son of a bitch, because it was Mostert in to finish the game off in the next drive, and he's nursing an ankle, which I don't understand why. I really thought, and I apologize to anybody who took my fantasy advice. I really thought it was a no-brainer. You've got Mostert nursing an ankle, Jeff Wilson Jr. fresh off of being sat. It's on a short week. How hard is it to figure out, give the bulk of the carries to Wilson? And when he got the ball, he did look good. Wilson was getting that extra yard or two. You know what I mean?
And he's fresh.
Right, he's fresh. It just made it was the easiest. It was a layup, as you would say. It was a complete layup to not put so much pressure on Mostert. He's 31, it's short week. You got Wilson sitting there. It was the easiest call you could make. And that dumb son of a bitch is it's like I can see where Tua gets it, in the sense that 80% of the time, Tua is taking 2 steps and throwing wherever the hell he had already made up his mind to throw. And the problem is, though, is when I watch what happens when Tua gets to his second read, I kind of understand why McDaniel designed the offense to be quick reads, because once Tua stands back there and has to really scan the field and make decisions or decide if he's going to, run the ball and move out of the pocket or anything, you could just see him getting skittish through the television set, I don't know. You see the same thing?
Well, the ball's coming out quicker, and we've pointed out the ball coming out quicker possibly being one of the reasons why the line is playing better. So if you're rushing, now it might feel like rushing through those reads instead of it just being systematic. We go through everything fast. Now that you've lost a few linemen, rushing might actually be the right word. So whether that's throwing to just the spot, like we've been complaining about for weeks, why is he not looking at the person? Why is he looking at just the spot? I don't want to blame the offensive line because I've been giving them credit all year long, but correlation, causation, whatever you want to say, we could be rushing through all of our stuff because of what's happened to the line and worried about what, a hit on Tua or anything like that. I'm rolling my eyes while I'm saying it, guys. Anybody in the comments saying that sounds like excuses? I know. Sometimes excuses are the truth, though.
Excuses are just reasons.
Right. I mean, and I think that, right. And depending on whose side you're on is what word you'll use. If it's a Bills fan watching this, you're like, it's an excuse. And it's like,
well, so if he's got 2 guys in his
being
face,
out for the year an excuse, they're like, no, that's a reason. It's like, see, that's how it goes.
Right. There's this perspective is the only difference between excuse and reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, why didn't Kachuk play the last game? Well, he had a broken sternum. It's just an excuse. It's like, okay, I mean,
right.
But I guess we got to talk about the other son of a fucking bastard, stupid damn fucking turf. Jalen Phillips. And I mean, as soon as you saw him on the ground and he wasn't moving, you knew. I mean, you didn't even have to see the replay. You're like, yep. And then when you watch the replay, you're like, God damn, it's like, bing. I mean, it was like a piano wire.
Now, see, at least with that one, Jet fans aren't going to argue with us about the word excuse or reason, because they're already saying from week 1, reason regarding turf, because it took out Aaron Rodgers in the same goddamn field, just took out Jalen Phillips for the year.
Yep.
Who has to get hurt before the NFL finally does this? Because we did this right after week 1. We talked about this when Rodgers got hurt. I forget the exact number. I think it was something very small, like in the 10, 12 million area. It might have even been small, like 8 million to change the rest of the fields to natural grass.
Yeah.
Who has to get hurt for them to finally do it? Does it have to be Mahomes? Because it already was a quarterback, and it already was a high-profile quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
Right. Yeah, but they don't like Aaron because
right. Well, obviously we can't do it in the middle of the season, so I'm not expecting them to have changed it this season. But is there going to be a serious conversation at the end of the season, because it's the same field that's taken out 2 high-profile players, one being a Hall of Fame quarterback?
Yeah.
Does it have to be Mahomes? Because Mahomes did play there this year. We can keep sending him back if that's what it takes.
Right.
I'll trade him to the Jets if I have to, so he has to play there every week. That might be bad for us. But you get the point.
I just thought about that.
There's like 4, 5, 6 fields in the league that are turf. And everyone keeps hurting their knees and Achilles and everything else on those turfs. There is definitely a pattern. The math is too high on those fields.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. I mean, I hate losing Phillips. Don't anybody get me wrong. But as long as Van Ginkel and Agba stay healthy, we should be okay. Van Ginkel, because I remember, the first few weeks when Phillips was kind of in, out, because he was still kind of dinged up. There were a couple of weeks there when I remember thinking, man, just put Van Ginkel in that spot, because he was playing better than Phillips when he was a little bit dinged. It's always good to have all your guys. You want all the guys, but nobody gets to January with all the guys. You know what I mean?
No. And we will be fine. Like, no disrespect to Jalen Phillips. We will be fine. It's just
Yeah.
I hate that nervous feeling I get every time going to one of these fields being like, all right, who's gonna snap their shit today?
Right.
Oh, okay. It was Jalen Phillips today.
Right,
Like,
right. And it
know
just
it's gonna happen before it happens.
right. I know it just sucks. Now the one thing, um, it was good that they held out a Chan. I'm glad they gave him that extra rest. If we can get, I know it's a big if, but if we can at least get our running back situation healthy here, we should be getting the Chan back at some point. Chris Brooks will be back at some point. Because Ahmed's now done for the year. So, and I'm bringing that up because, in January, you got to be able to run the ball, and I know we're dinged up right now. But we should be able to, especially I'll be interested to see Brooks because he didn't play a whole lot and then he got hurt. And, he's kind of a bulldozer. And if he could be a sneaky, addition towards the end of the season into the playoffs where, give us a little bit more of a 1-2 punch. Because you could tell Mostert doesn't have the same burst as he had at the beginning of the year. Those linebackers are now kind of catching him. He's getting through that first hole, and instead of being able to accelerate through the second level, the linebackers are getting him. He's still getting 3-4 yards a carry, which would be fantastic if we had a normal offensive coordinator. If we had just a normal offensive coordinator, all right, 2nd and 6.5, okay, that leaves open a lot of options. You know what I mean? Even if you just want to pick up another 3 or 4 yards on the ground, and now you got 3rd and 3, which you can, you could do anything you want on 3rd and 3. But we don't. And look, I love them when it works, but these sometimes, man, especially like with the sweeps. Now, I don't really mind. I like the little misdirection plays where Tyreek gets the ball and nobody can kind of figure that out. But some of these sweeps take so long to develop that by the time the second guy gets the ball, then the whole team is on the other side of the field waiting for him, and it's a loss of 5. And the other part to that is, Mike, we got weapons all over the field, bro. Okay. We don't always have to throw. If you want to throw your bubble screens, okay. It doesn't always have to be Tyreek. How many hits can the dude take? How many times can he be ducking and dodging and getting wrapped up early and fighting for that extra 6 inches? You know what I mean? It's like down the field, Mike. Down that way. So that's the only thing there. I just
Waddle's a legit star receiver.
What's that?
Waddle's a legit star receiver. Waddle's a legit star receiver that can get the ball, and it does seem like he's getting ignored a little bit. And it's funny, you think before they traded for Tyreek, we were just talking about someone to take the attention off of Waddle so that he's not doubled all the time. Just get a good 2 to take the attention off.
Right.
We end up getting somebody where Waddle's taking the attention off him instead of getting someone to take the attention off Waddle.
Yeah.
But it's still like he still didn't lose any talent just from acquiring Tyreek. You know what I mean? It's 2 number ones. Like when you had Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison, when you had Larry Fitzgerald and Anquan Bolden, it's 2 number 1 receivers.
Right.
And Ceddy Wilson ain't a bad player. Robbie Chosen ain't a bad player.
Craycraft's been back for 3 weeks. Yeah. No. So
Claypool's hurt, but when Claypool's this far down your depth chart, Claypool's a good guy to have. But I think a lot of stuff will improve when we have a more healthy stable of backs, when we're able to run the ball more with Brooks, like you said, with Mostert, with Wilson. That will get the defense's front 7 and not send so many guys. That'll have our receivers more open. They'll give Tua more time, maybe not more time to go through his reads, but maybe he's not rushing, as we said, through the reads anymore because of the more time. Everybody looks a lot better week 1 than they do in week 15, 16. Even the team that wins the Super Bowl looks a lot better in week 1 than they did. That's football, man.
Yeah. So on the flip side of the field, I don't know what Aaron Rodgers was thinking because I mean, I'm sorry. That offense out there yesterday, I mean, you put Aaron Rodgers in there. I mean, I love Aaron Rodgers, but either he's going to end up dead or I just don't think that he's the answer to everything that ails that team. You know what I mean?
Maybe he was just saying the right things, like you sort of alluded to earlier. He's not the most popular guy in the world. Now he's in the biggest media market. So if he's saying all the right leadership things, then,
Right.
maybe some people get on his side a little bit. And I'm not saying he's necessarily lying. Maybe a few weeks ago, he really did believe that he was going to be healthy in time. They did have a decent record at that point.
Right.
And I think also, you play sports before. When you're on the team, you're going to look past some of the flaws a little bit. You're going to believe some of the coach speak a little bit more, hyping the team up with what we have. I can remember my high school football team, our junior year, we went like 3-7. I thought we were going to be going like 8-2 or something with how we were going to practice and how coaches were talking and stuff. I was like, we got a good squad this year. We went 3-7.
Yeah.
When you're close to it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I just, I know they got a lot of injuries on the offensive line, but I just felt bad for the kid Boyle because it's just like I kind of feel like Saleh put him out there as a sacrifice, as a way because everybody's just like dumping on Zach Wilson, and I kind of feel like it wasn't a diss on Wilson taking him out. It might have been a little bit of Saleh going, all right, here. You think Wilson is the problem? You think that's the problem? Here you go. Here's this other guy. And I mean, just there's no time to throw. There's nowhere to run the ball. You got one wide receiver.
But see, that's the tricky game he's playing now because now he's taking pieces off the board who you can blame. Now you can't blame Zach Wilson anymore after what you saw with Boyle. Now you're going to probably blame the offensive coordinator. You saw the Steelers do that because they don't want to admit that Pickett stinks. You saw the Bills do that because they don't want to admit that Josh Allen stinks in prime time. So eventually when you take away, all right, it's not the quarterback's fault, and the Jets will fire the offensive coordinator next. Not the offensive coordinator's fault. Eventually they're going to say, Rob, it's you.
Yeah.
I'd be riding Zach Wilson every week. You ain't blaming me.
Right.
It's him.
Yeah. I mean, look, everybody loves Saleh, and when they're winning, he's a big rah-rah guy and everything like that. But I don't see in Saleh what I saw in Dan Campbell at the beginning. You know what I mean? It's just different. Saleh's body language, and I get it. But when things are not going well, like when things were not going well for Campbell, he's still, you see him like encouraging his guys and kind of being, hey, look, this is all of us together. And Saleh, I just don't see it. Saleh is just like, to be honest, a lot of times they were cutting to his head, cutting to his face on the screen. And if I could read his thoughts, what I would think he's thinking is, when are these sons of bitches going to fire me? Please get me the hell out of here. He don't look like he wants to be there.
He saw what happened to Jimbo Fisher. He's like, I can stay home and get $70 million. Like, fire me now.
Yeah.
Shit. I saw that and wanted to be an agent for bad coaches. Just an agent for bad coaches. That's what I wanted. Once I saw that firing. Yeah, like, go, give me 10% of that.
It's not a bad idea, though.
That's our plan.
Once the contract is signed, everybody's getting paid. Yeah, who was the guy that just kept getting chances after chances? I know Gase got a few chances, but there was somebody else that just kept getting chances.
In the college world, Lane Kiffin and Brian Kelly a little bit too.
Right. Yeah, I was talking about it with Kyle the other day, but I can't remember who it was. But so look, we're 8-3. And in the schedule, we've got time to figure out our crap. Let me pull up the schedule here. we've got some time to figure out our crap because
next
in
three
the next
dubs.
in the next 3 games, if we lose any of those games, I'll personally drive down to Miami and I don't know what, dude. We're at the Commanders.
Yep.
Then we've got home games. We got the Titans on Sunday night, and then the Jets
That's gonna be
at
flexed out.
And yeah, that should be. And then we got the Jets at home. So we got two. Actually, we got 3 home games in a row after the Commanders. We got Titans, Jets, Cowboys. Now, Cowboys is obviously not not much of a layup.
You know what's interesting about that Cowboys game?
What's that?
They are now starting to get the same narrative built about them that the Dolphins do, which is, oh yeah, look at all their wins, but none of them are against a winning team.
Is that right?
So now those 2 teams are going to have to play each other.
Yeah, and that's Christmas Eve, I believe. Yeah. We play the Cowboys Christmas Eve and the Ravens New Year's Eve.
And they'll both be playing each other, hoping to get that first win against a winning team. The schedule dictates one of them has to now, and they'll tie.
Right. So if we win the next 3, you're 11-3, and then the last 3 games of the year are Cowboys, Ravens, and Bills. Right. Yeah. They didn't. I mean, they put all the shitty teams over here, and then all the good teams at the end. And when you really look at the schedule based on what teams thought, okay, like we're taking the 2 games against the Jets and going, okay, good. But in reality, it was supposed to be Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, then the Cowboys, then the Ravens, then the Bills. So
definitely going to be battle tested by that first playoff game.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no joke about that. But if we keep winning, right? If we keep winning and we beat the Cowboys, then the game against the Ravens is for the top seed in the AFC. And based on what I've seen, how the Dolphins play against tougher teams with running quarterbacks, 45-6 Ravens. That's my pick. I have no confidence. And that's not even a knock on the team now or even what I think would happen in the playoffs or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Baltimore has been kicking. I mean, they haven't just been winning, right? I know they gave up the big lead in the one game, but they had the big lead. But they have just been like, especially in the first half of games, which is our kryptonite. You see what I'm saying? That's my concern with that game is they'll come out.
It'll definitely be a problem.
Yeah. So, but we could still end up with 12, maybe even 13 wins. And if we win the division, we don't get that top seed, then it's just a matter of where else we end up and which team is going to come play us first in the playoffs. It's very possible that last game of the year against the Bills, they could need that win to get into the playoffs. It's possible if they win some games.
It's nice that we're not potentially. I mean, you still could if they go on a run, but it's nice that we're not potentially having to worry about that game being for the division. Now it's just whether or not the Bills can get a wild card spot for themselves or not.
Yeah, the Bills ain't going to the wild card spot. The Bills' next 3 games at the Eagles, at the Chiefs, and home with the Cowboys. Yeah. No, no.
They might have packed. So. If they lose all 3 of those, Stephon Diggs is already angry over there. A lot of stuff that could be blowing up on the inside.
Yeah,
they could have packed it in by the time we play them. Like that could end up being a blowout. I'm just saying, if that happens, that they're pros, but if they don't care about the game they're in, they're gonna get blown out.
Now, the Ravens do not have an easy way of it. They got the Chargers and the Rams, but then they've got the Jaguars. They're at the Jaguars. They're at the 49ers. Then they've got us, and then they've got the Steelers at home at the last game of the year.
Yeah, so maybe the Niners will soften them up a little bit for us.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they play Christmas Day, so they'll actually be on a short week.
There you go.
Because we play Christmas Eve. So they got to travel to San Francisco, play on Christmas, and then they'll be on a little bit of a short week. I ain't gonna lie, huh?
Long flight.
Yeah, no, I'll take that. I mean, it's not a big deal one day, but one day is one day this time of the year.
We'll take it.
I'll take it. Yeah,
not for nothing, but the last time we played in Baltimore, Tua was pretty good.
Well, and that's the thing, man. It's just like, with Marino, and I'm not saying Tua's Marino, but people like to say he's the best quarterback since Marino for the Dolphins. With Marino, 99 games out of 100, you knew what you were getting. Mm-hmm. Okay, especially when he was before the injuries, and in his prime, those first 8-9 years, whatever it was, you knew what you were getting. They were very, very rarely an off day. And if he did throw 2 interceptions, it's because he was 46 of 54 for 450 yards and 5 touchdowns with 2 interceptions. Right. You know what I mean? Because he was just slinging the ball all over the field. But pretty much from drive to drive, within reason, that was Dan Marino, right? You knew what you was getting. With Tua, it's just like there's bad Tua and then there's good Tua, and the difference between the two is just tremendous. Because you'll have these drives where you're just like, holy shit, how did he get the ball in there? And then the next drive, you're like, where the hell's he throwing the ball? So
yeah, and then instead of being 99 out of 100, it's probably about 80 out of 100, something like that.
Right.
Yeah. It's not as much as you would think. Like, it feels like 50-50 because, again, with pros, you make 1 or 2 mistakes, they cash it in every time. And that's what makes it feel like it's 50-50. Right. He's never going to be Marino. I think we all have to accept that. If we haven't already as Dolphins fans, he's never going to be Dan Marino. Nobody's going to be Dan Marino, but he is the next best thing. And we can definitely win a Super Bowl with him. And we have all the weapons around him to win a Super Bowl. And now, I'm just saying, because my boy came back, now that defense can definitely win a Super Bowl.
Yes.
So I'm not tripping. Everything is going to fall into place. Like, look at what you just looked up. The Bills' schedule is shit the rest of the year. Baltimore has to play at the Niners, come back on a short week. It's all coming together.
I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Because, what I was, this will be the last thing I say, what I was reminded of, I was walking by the TV on Thanksgiving before we were getting ready to stream, and Kyle was watching something on YouTube, and it was the Leon Lett game. It was Leon Lett. Somebody had done a really nice video. It was only 10 minutes long. I stood there, I watched it with them. But you know what I remember most about the Leon Lett game? We were 9-3 after we won that game. And we finished the season 9-7 and missed the playoffs. That's what I remember about the Leon. I mean, I remember the Leon Lett game, but we didn't win another game the rest of the year, including getting it was overtime, losing to the Patriots the last week of the season when we still could have made the playoffs.
Why you gotta be like that?
It's in the blood, bro. Because this movie that we're watching right now, this is like the 25th sequel, and all 24 of the other ones ended the same way. So maybe
You're
the
terrible.
25th would be the special 25th anniversary.
Man. Someone in the chat mentioned that in the offseason, you and Kyle could do those old games.
Yeah, Kyle had a really good idea adding on to that. We are going to do it. What he also wants to do is not just like a whole individual game, but we wouldn't watch every single game, but it would be like a reaction to a specific season, right? So like, I lost Gus Frerotte. Are you still there? It's weird. Your picture is gone. I bet you his phone ran out of battery. He's gone. I paid the devil to replace him. He's gone. Okay. Now I think that's going to end the video. I think we've said enough. They've given us the black screen of death for Trey. And let me see if I have a text here. Hold on. Just hold. No, there's no text. Trey, that's it. That's it. They came for him. They took him. The aliens took him up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate all the support. Make sure you hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're new, please. We're less than 20 subscribers away from being able to get the sucker monetized. And, oh, wait. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, I bet you he got a phone call. That's right. Let's see. Let's give him 30 seconds. Short version. Dun, 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 dun. Not working, and it lined up perfectly. So, all right, everybody. We appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. The content's usually better than it ended today. So, all right, guys. We'll see you again real soon.